Greetings, everyone. We are looking into the Zimbabwe news headlines. We welcome your input. Some of you have advised us that maybe we take a bit the format in which we deal with the news headline, where we discuss two stories or two articles in some bit of a detail other than going through the rest of the stories. So what we'll do, we'll simply give you the headlines without going through in detail in all the stories and then only discuss two. But we start with the official currency exchange rate. US dollar to ZiG, the official exchange rate is $13.80. The black market rate is $27. And then in your news headlines, Parliament, government must urgently address incessant power cuts crippling industry productivity. So you can look into that article. The next article, which might be of interest to you, which you must look into: fossil contracting restarts work on poorly done Lorraine Drive. And then the other one, Harare City Council effects 25% increment. Least paid employee taking home $536. So you can Google this story and read more. Then the next one, boost for HIV fight as US ambassador reveals presidential plan is engaging partners to continue a program. It's an interesting story which you should look into. Then the next one, the Zimbabwe grain token now be yours for $21,000 per person. You can Google that one. Then the last one, sex with under 18s outlawed. These are your headlines that we recommend that you Google and read. But we want to focus on two headlines that are of interest. The first one is about the opposition in Zimbabwe, Citizens Coalition for Change. And the last one would be the Zimbabwe gold currency, which we have been discussing. It is safe, in our view, it is safe to say we no longer have a progressive, let me put it this way, we no longer have a progressive opposition party in Zimbabwe. It is time that we think seriously about establishing a progressive opposition party which has appetite to win political power in Zimbabwe. CCC is imploding, according to the article which we are discussing. It says after receiving $1.6 million from Parliament. You recall that from 1990, Parliament passed a law that political parties that are represented in Parliament get funding from it. So CCC, based on the seats it won in the 2023 elections, its share of the money is $1.6 million, which, according to this article, was given to Secretary General Sengezo Chabangu. Some call him self-imposed interim Secretary General. The article goes on to say that Chabangu snatched Citizens Coalition for Change CCC from Nelson Chamisa after CCC was established in January 2022. Later on, Nelson Chamisa resigned as the president of CCC. When Nelson Chamisa resigned, the three deputy presidents took it upon themselves to rotate the presidents. It was agreed in April 2024 that they were reverting back to the 2019 structures, that is Professor Welshman Ncube, Advocate Tendai Pitt, and Lynette Garay Ngore, who were meant to rotate the presidents. But so far we have seen only Professor Ncube occupying that position. So after the disbursement of the money from Parliament, $1.6 million, it appears there is another implosion media alleges that this might be linked to the money that has come from Parliament. The CCC spokesperson, Williams Matsumure, is quoted as saying, I quote, "We want to assure our members and supporters that there is no crisis within the CCC. These opinions we reject the delusional and the self-serving legal opinions from individuals outside our party structures. These opinions do not and never have constituted our leadership or its authority. The CCC is united and focused on the challenges ahead, and we will continue to work diligently for the interests of our constituents," close quote. His comments are a reaction from what is said that legal advisors have given legal advice to Interim Secretary Chabangu, Secretary General Chabangu, that he is the only individual that has full control of the party. It is said that this leadership has not constituted or convened a congress to elect new leadership. Chabangu spokesperson, Senator Kalipani Puken, is also quoted as saying, I quote, "The legal opinion expressly deals with interpretation of the party constitution. Some office-bearers' offices have expired by way of operation of law, that is party constitution, and there is need for the party to operate within the confines of the law and the constitution. Anyone with a different opinion is welcome to place it on record and he shall be interrogated. According to the legal opinion, he, Chabangu, is the only one with a valid mandate to organize the party towards the next Congress," close quote. So you have an individual, according to Puken, that has the responsibility to organize the Congress. It is no longer the collective. And in this channel, we've always spoken about the collective. So if you find yourself in a political formation, placing power to an individual, not to a collective, there's a serious problem. This is why we are saying we no longer have a progressive political or opposition party that has appetite to win political power in Zimbabwe. What we're seeing is now fight over finances from Parliament. It is no longer, CCC is no longer carrying out the mandate it was given by voters in 2023. So there's a serious need to reorganize and establish a pan-Africanist mass political movement that will reject the imperialist expansion in our country, that will reject the looting class, a political formation that is rooted in the liberation struggle, a political party that has a desire to complete our liberation. So it's a political party that is rooted in the ideals of the liberation struggle. We have discussed these ideals of the liberation struggle, why we went to war, and we have said we went to war not to vote, but to dismantle colonialism. So you need a new movement that will dismantle neo-colonialism. Let's conclude by discussing the Zimbabwe currency, the ZiG. Government is in a fix as its bid to promote the use of the Zimbabwe gold hit a snag after farmers last week forced authorities to pay them in United States dollars for wheat deliveries. And you know that the government of Zimbabwe has been promoting a gold-backed currency. It's something that we are going to look into in our next publication of the Vanguard when we do the analysis of the ZiG. But the ZiG has lost about 40% of its value since it was introduced, and the government thought that ZiG was going to be our currency, gold-backed currency. The idea is good, but we've said that without production, it becomes meaningless. So farmers were paid $440 per ton, split as 75% in US dollars and 25% in local currency at the prevailing interbank rate. However, the growing discontent among farmers who play a vital role in Zimbabwe's food security forced government to reconsider zinc payments. So farmers are saying no, we are going to keep our produce or our products if you are not going to pay us in US dollars. So there is a crisis. We have an economic crisis. We have El Nino, a drought. We have millions of Zimbabweans that need food aid. We have a government that wants to pay farmers using the local currency ZiG. Farmers are rejecting that. They are saying they are going to keep their harvest because they want to be paid in US dollars. On the other hand, we have an opposition party, CCC, that is imploding. Please write your comments, share in the comment section, like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you're on TikTok, please do follow us. Otherwise, have a great day. Goodbye.